Hey, what's up everyone? Morey Croson here, and today we're going to be going over how to fix your elbow pain by fixing your mechanics, and we're going to start the video right now.
This is the newest edition of the Performance Lab.
Reach your individual goals. You don't want to just talk about straight line speed. We also want to talk about your ability to be quick. We break down your video. Let's make you into the quarterback I know you can become.
All right, so this is one of the important concepts that I think is really important for all of us to be able to understand, and really one of the main reasons I got into this business in the first place is the idea and the concept that a lot of us are causing the injuries and the problems that we're having because of how we're moving, and it doesn't have as much to do about the strength of the muscles or the range of motion of the muscles or anything like that. Because a lot of times what ends up happening is, like, let's say we have a elbow problem like we have in this video, or you end up even having something maybe even more major, some type of Tommy John injury or something like that. A lot of times people are like, oh yeah, to be able to fix this we have to strengthen your rotator cuff and your wrist and blah 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 blah. But in my opinion, a lot of times we have to actually be able to look at the mechanics and say what is happening within how we are actually throwing the football, baseball, whatever, that's causing the issue that is currently occurring. So what we have here is my throw here on the left. Not that I, again, have the greatest throw in the world, but at least here I'm not bad in terms of what we're looking at within this video. And then we also have another quarterback. He just sent in a video here recently, and what really stands out to me is a couple things. So one, you can see that my forearm is pretty much at, it looks like it's a little bit past neutral. You can see where my wrist is at though, and where my palm's at, which is what's important. In comparison to here on the right, and the common thing that I'm seeing is that, before you're getting into the position where the ball ends up being released, there's a thing where you end up like opening up your hand, right? So you can see where he's at, he's about the same position as me. He doesn't have near as much on the football though, right? So he's at a spot where the ball's already released from his hand, and the ball is really not even attached there. But you can see how he's opened up that hand already, right? And I see this a lot. So it's like as the ball's coming through, and this causes the nose of the football to be a little bit more off to the side. There's a lot of things that come from this. One, inconsistent spirals, right? If you're not throwing a consistent spiral, if you are having elbow pain, if you have trouble with your deep ball, all these can be, this can be a symptom of all three of those, right? And really what ends up happening is that you want to be able to, as you're releasing the ball, maintain that good solid and neutral wrist position. But if you go and you like rotate the hand, or you start to bend the hand, or something happens before as you're releasing the ball, that's going to start to put additional stress here, right? And so when you're doing this and you're opening up your hand, that's putting that additional stress on the elbow, which is what is causing that problem there, right? And so what you want to be doing with the mechanics is we really got to fix the neutral position of the wrist, and we also got to be able to fix the wrist flick, right? You got to be able to come down, right? It ends up being this action with the wrist, and then it also is, a rotational action that's happening. So it's a down, it's a rotation, and then it's also a, kind of an inward action, right? So it's all three planes, right? So this is going to be the sagittal plane, right? When it comes to how we're actually moving it. This is going to be frontal plane, right? So it's a little bit of frontal plane movement. So we're moving forward, and we're also moving down, and we're also rotating all at the same time. What happens here, right, is that we just open up the hand early, right? And you can see how that forces that elbow to kind of come out to the side a little bit. And it just, with the positioning of the arm, that just puts a lot of stress on the elbow, right? Your elbow almost wants to come out, right? Instead of maintaining an inward position here, based off the movement, right? If you go and you move and you try to open up the elbow, you'll feel how that elbow wants to move outwards. But when you're going through the throw, the elbow is actually moving towards the target, right? So the natural anatomy is, as it's coming through, it wants to be moving in. And so if you're doing an action with the hand that is not synonymous with what your elbow should be doing in that position, right? So you're actually should be going this way with the elbow, but instead your body is, moving in a way that's kind of pushing to go out. That's putting like a stress on that joint, right? And that's what ends up causing pain. That's what causes overuse. That's what ends up being a big issue. So you can fix this type of thing with the mechanics. We just have to be able to understand how to be able to utilize the wrist and what a neutral wrist is like, right? You got to be able to fit. I've done a ton of videos on, the wrist flick. I could add them down below, as well as what we need to do within, like a loading perspective to be able to keep a neutral wrist, and then also with the wrist flick, what that should look like. And so there's a few different videos that will be able to help you out with, down below. But really, you got to understand how it all comes into play when it comes to your mechanics in order to make sure you're able to fully address this issue. So as always, guys, thanks for watching. If this information ended up being beneficial, go ahead and click that thumbs up down below. Subscribe to the channel. If you have any questions, comments, or recommendations, you can leave those down below. And check out in the description down below, we have that Throw 60 program that I think is going to be super beneficial for everybody that goes into it. We're going to have a lot of accountability. We're going to have Zooms every week. We're going to make it so you have workouts that you could do throughout the week, and the workouts are going to be tailored towards you. It's going to be very personalized. So, if you already are working out 3-4 times a week, within your school, that's not always going to be enough to be able to actually get the results that you're looking for. And so what we did is we made it so we could really create that personalization that you need so you can work on whatever it is: balance, shoulder range of motion, core strength, power, and just get, even have a throw program, right? We have a part of it that's just going to be how you can work on being able to develop your shoulder through a consistent throw program, which is what pitchers do in order to make it so they throw further, which quarterbacks do not do, which I don't understand. But again, we've been working on this for a long time, and so we really want to make sure that you understand why it's going to be so beneficial. And for the price that it is, it's 100% guarantee, and it's a very, very reasonable price. As we start to get more and more success through this, we're going to have to start raising the prices a little bit. But I would say get in at the ground floor, get in when it's just getting started, because that's where you're going to be able to get the most bang for your buck, and also be able to get the most amount of personalization from me. So the sooner you take action, the better the results are going to be. As always, thanks for watching. We'll talk to you soon.